What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Conversation series presented by Fandoms Anonymous. New series that we're doing where we're getting together and talking about all of the things that are going on, not only in our local community, but also in the news. So I got a lot of people on here with me today. I got my boy Wyatt. What's going on, Wyatt?
What's happening?
What's going on? I got Katie. What's going on, Katie? She all the way out there in Las Vegas where it's like 2 o'clock in the morning the previous day. Always daylight every time we call her.
Silly.
Hey, Katie.
I'm present. Hey.
All right. And I got these people out the way. Shout out to the Murphy clique over here on my left side. Murphy High School in this thing. Got my boy Steven, the Chef McIntyre, and Miss Shalita Dowden. How y'all doing?
What's good? What's
Bye.
up?
Let's do it. All right. So we are here today to talk about something very, very interesting. I'm a YouTuber, and I am a factual YouTuber. I don't do videos just for views or just for likes. If there's no type of factual news going on, I'm not doing a video. I just think that's the best way to be because you don't want to just put stuff out there. So a video got shared the other day by a YouTuber named Roman. It's a channel called Everything Always. And I used to watch his channel first starting off, but then I started realizing everything on his channel it ain't real. It's false. And then as soon as he posts a video, he posts in all caps and get everybody attention. And that's basically clickbait. And it's basically lying. Clickbait is another form of lying. And he posted a thing and said Beyonce is gonna be Storm and Black Panther 2. And the internet went stupid. They went bananas. And I'm like, no, that's not right. Because I hadn't heard Bob Iger say anything. I hadn't heard Kevin Feige say anything. I hadn't heard Ryan Coogler say anything. Those of you don't know who Bob Iger is. He's the most recent CEO of Disney. For those of you who don't know who Kevin Feige is, he is the leader of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Every movie you've seen that has come out from Marvel, he is in charge. Ryan Coogler, of course, is the director of Black Panther. No type of official press release or nothing from anybody. Because before I open my mouth, I'm like, let me go look myself. And if I don't see anything official from those people, then it's just speculation. And in this case, it was just a straight up lie because it got debunked the next day by a reputable source called comicbook.com. And then it brought up the conversation of Beyonce and her acting. Now, I will go ahead and say from up front, I believe that Beyonce is a very, 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 very talented individual. She's a talented singer. She's a talented person. She does a lot in the community. She does a lot of amazing things. And she, for a young woman who's growing up in the world, looking for somebody to not necessarily idolize, but somebody to look at as being in a good position, I put her in that list of names, you know? But the question came up about her acting. Yeah, there's a lot of people on here who feel some way about her acting and don't feel some way about her acting. I'm going to let Beyonce fan 1,000,000,000% up to the top, tippity top to go first. Miss Shalila, you go ahead and let us know how you feel about
He gonna
this.
put me on blast. I know I'm the only one who probably has my mindset, my viewpoint, but I'm the CEO of the Beehive. So I don't follow Marvel as much as you do, Malcolm, because you were saying names and I'm like, who these people are? Obviously, I knew who Ryan Coogler was.
Right.
I saw the stuff about Beyonce, and for the most part, because I'm the CEO of the Hive. Let me stop being extra. I was like, okay, she gonna be in Black Panther. I kind of knew it wasn't true, but everybody kept tagging me in it because everybody knows that I like Beyonce. I'm a Beyonce fan. Yeah. So I was like, well, let me throw my 2 cents out here, even though I know it's a rumor. To me, I feel like her acting is mediocre, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's because it's Beyonce, we hold her to a very high standard. We've seen way worse acting and don't necessarily feel the need to comment on it. But, I respect everybody's opinion because we like different stuff. We like different music. Some people think she can't sing. Some people think she can. You have an ear and an eye for what you want. But it was interesting to see the internet blow up. But obviously that goes to show just how influential she is and her name and and I also was like, dang, y'all really passionate about Black Panther. Okay. Now I necessarily don't think she would be the best person to play Storm, because from the comic books that I've seen, Storm is dark skinned. So I also have a issue with Hollywood always making Storm light. But that we could talk about that later on in discussion. But I if she was picked to play Storm, I have a biased viewpoint, but honestly, I think her acting is mediocre. I don't think it's bad, but I think because it's Beyonce, she's held to such a high standard. And you can come back to me later.
we're definitely. Steven, man, go ahead and hit me with it, man. What you think?
You know, kind of like what she was saying, like, is Beyonce the world's best actress? No. But is she the worst? No. So whenever this conversation comes up about, oh, Beyonce can't act, Beyonce, well, I mean, she's an artist first. And we really look at the list of artists / actors, you know, there's not a whole lot of people. Probably one of the best ones would be like Jamie Foxx, but he's way top tier. And we've seen some really trash artists / actors. So she, for me, she is the name that pulls people in. She's not really there to be the star. Well, I mean, she ends up being the star because she's Beyonce, but at the same time, like, you know, I know a lot of people were talking about in The Lion King, how she ruined The Lion King, which, I mean, I wouldn't say all that because she played the role, and I mean, we knew Beyonce is Beyonce, so I mean, I don't know what people were expecting. That's kind of my thing too. Is like, I don't know, maybe because she is so dominant in the music world, people expect that same dominance in every single thing that she does, which it's fine. You know, I don't know. A lot of people compare it, and then I don't know. I don't really see the correlation between the two. But, I mean, is she the worst? No. So, I mean, and then on top of that, her playing Storm, of course, that is a storyline that happens in Black Panther, but I'm pretty sure that storyline hasn't been quite developed to that point because we would have to skip a whole lot of stuff to get to where that would happen. Anyway, I feel like, I don't know if that's like one of the last things that happens, but it's way down the road. So,
yeah. It's about 4.5 years from where we currently are. Right. Kind of, am I right on that, right? Wyatt?
Yeah. They still got to develop all the X-Men first before they kind of bring in Storm.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. Like, it wasn't like everybody said. Like, I don't think she's a horrible actress, but I just feel like the part didn't fit. You know what I mean? So, and I think with some of his movies, especially with Black Panther, I like the fact that like a lot of the actors in that movie that was their first big break, and it felt like if they would have put her in that role of Storm, first of all, like it just wouldn't fit the timeline that they normally do, and second of all, it felt like it would be something that was just forced on us. Like, okay, we got to have this big name, and I just didn't think it would necessarily fit as far as what they were trying to do. Because if you look at a lot of like Ryan Coogler's, like short of Michael B. Jordan, and that's because they've done so many movies together, he tries not to get as many like big name, big ticket item or people. He tries to be able to kind of give some other people some opportunity. So I think that would have been same thing. It would have felt like it was forced rather than just kind of have it naturally come about.
Before we move forward, Katie Kelly, what do you think about all this?
I mean, well, Beyonce cool. She alright, you know. No offense, Miss Dowdy, but she alright. No, but I mean, like, you know, of course she's a very talented person. The only thing that's kind of getting on my nerves now is the fact that people are talking about like, oh my God, Black women, we just got from building each other to tearing people down. And I'm just like, that's not tearing people down. That's just letting people know where they belong. Okay. Not every space that you see is there for you, you know? And just like Wyatt said, like, you know, it's just not, she just doesn't fit. Or was that Steven? I'm sorry. But like, you know, she just doesn't fit. And like, you know, also being the MCU fan, Black Panther is like anything that Marvel does is always top tier 100%. They're going to always find the best of the best, the top of the crop, nigga, like you're going to be all up in it. Like Marvel, like they're that company. They are that company. So like they're going to do the best they can to make sure they can find the best people, best whatever. And they do all the time. And so, like, you know, just them putting Beyonce in that, I don't think it was really that serious. Because we all know she's not going to play it, like, period. So there's nothing else to really talk about after that. And just like Wyatt said, like, that was a big break for, Black Panther and the actors and the actresses and everything like that, just to put somebody in who's already, like, she was like already there. And just like Dowdy said, I'm sorry, what's your first name, baby? Shayla.
Oh, look, I was like, she sound like she in the military. Call me. I have a military background, so people call me by my last name, but my first name is Shalila.
Shalila. Okay, sorry. And so, like, just like Miss Shalila was saying, like, she's being held up to this very high standard, which she is, because, like, she's like, what, number one out there, number two, number zero, like, she out there. So, like, everybody is going to expect her to be the best of the best for everything else, but she's not going to always be the best in everything. So when it comes to that, it's just like, she's not going to be playing the part. That's it. That's all. Nobody's tearing her down or anything like that. She's a great singer and singing is good. I watched Obsessed. I really like it. But, like, other than that, like, there are plenty of other people who can definitely play that role. And we can give that to, people who really work hard for that. Not saying that Beyonce never did, but I'm just saying that, like, there are plenty of roles that we can give to women of color who are doing great things and who are studying these things. Because in college, I majored in theater. So, like, theater isn't something that, or acting isn't something that every single person can do. It's not. Whether you're a singer, whether you rapper, whether you talk show host, whatever, like, acting is not for everybody. So it's not just going to fall upon you because you have money, So, like, with her, I mean, I'm glad she's not going to be playing Storm. And of course, we already knew that she wasn't anyway, but it's just not her place. So she can stay where she at. That's it.
Plus, just, and this is just kind of like logistically speaking, like the way Marvel puts out movies, like I don't think she would have had time to do it, because they always put out like movie after movie after movie, and then they always lock them down for multi-year deals. So like if you look at like how they did Robert Downey Jr. or how they did even Chadwick Boseman, like they have him locked down for multiple year movies. So like you work around their schedule. And I think with her being an actress and an artist the way that she is, like that wouldn't benefit her to be able to have to be in that certain role. But I wouldn't have mind if she was like maybe even a love interest that, that T'Challa had, maybe finding out here in the States and stuff like that. So like I wouldn't have even minded that part. I just don't think that particular role would have been good for her, because her having an African accent and stuff, it just kind of makes me chuckle.
And for me, I'm somebody who I live in this world of Marvel and all the movies, and I felt like I'm just on Facebook with a fan like, hold on, this flame is getting a little bit too hot. This is not happening. Please, people, pay attention. Go do your research. And I find that out a lot. Like, and I know a lot of you all, and I know like the way you guys did school. We researched back in the day. We looked up stuff. We come from the age of the thesaurus. Like, who uses that anymore? Like, we come from the age of having to go look in the encyclopedia. So we're not going to be too quick to be like, oh yeah, that's going to happen. But that's the world that we live in now. If somebody makes a post about it, it makes it true. And without research, and I'm just seeing people share. And not just in this case, but in a lot of cases, like clickbait is real. And one thing I know we don't like doing on this channel is perpetrating false narratives, because we want to give people the facts. And I know Shalila, a lot of stuff you do, you always make sure you give people the facts. Steven, when you're doing your cooking, you always make sure you give people, you don't just tell people, yeah, throw some salt in there. No, you tell them how much salt to throw in there. Wyatt, Kelly, Katie, all the stuff that I know that we all do, we make sure that it's not clickbait. We make sure we're giving out exactly what's supposed to happen and how it's supposed to happen. And it just started to spread so fast. And I'm looking at it on the outside like, nobody did anybody go research this? Like, did anybody go did anybody go look anything
They
up?
created a whole petition.
Right? Did anybody go exactly?
I was like, this what we doing? We creating
Right.
whole petition around here.
Right.
A
Meanwhile,
whole
that's
petition.
100. That's I don't know. I got a list of 100 petitions that people can sign concerning police brutality. That's what y'all doing.
Exactly. We need to be signing that. We need to be signing them type of petitions. That's the kind of research we need to be doing in this time. But it puts it in a perspective. Like I said, for me, living in this world and following this stuff, I'm like, and there have been times I've been wrong. There have been times where I didn't see the press release, or I didn't see the tweet from Kevin Feige, or the tweet or the Instagram post from the director of said movie or whatever project. But like why I said, like, this stuff gets planned in advance. Samuel Jackson signed a 9-movie picture deal back in 2012. We're in 2020 now. This man signed a 9-movie deal back in 2012. Same thing with Chadwick Boseman. He signed a 6-movie deal back however long ago he signed it. And that's how they do stuff. Along with that, they just got the Fox rights last year. So they hadn't even...
I was wondering about that too, because I was like, I didn't know if they had the rights, but I heard it was like they just got the rights.
Yeah,
so
like this time last year, they signed. It officially was official. Like, they now have all the Fox, so they now have access to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. And of course, we know Kevin Feige is a mastermind. You can't tell me he don't have some other people in some little corner somewhere just writing down ideas like, hey, y'all, look, just in case, I need y'all to have some ideas on the book so we can have something. So when this pen ink get dry, we can go ahead and get rolling. But we also want to look at, do you all think that sometimes Beyonce can be over exaggerated? Because I'll tell you, I have still not watched the Lion King movie. And for the reason of, and I've seen clips of it here and there, but I have not sat down and fully watched it from beginning to end. And I got turned off because it went away from the Lion King and the other amazing and talented actors and everything in the movie to the Beyonce King. That turned me off from it. Again, like I stated in the very beginning, I believe she is very highly talented. The whole homecoming at Coachella, I have a brother of mine that I marched in the band with Alabama State that was in that band for that performance. So I was all for that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you know any people that, or Steven, I don't know if you know any people that, but I know somebody personally that was like, bro, that was like the most amazing experience I ever had in my life. So I can't tell you how many times I've watched that over and over and over again for that HBCU band culture that I was even a part of. But do you all think there's an over exaggeration sometimes when it comes to Beyonce, where the light on whatever that might be going on gets dimmed and it's in a sense made about her? I'm gonna go with Wyatt first.
Well, I do, but sometimes I don't think it's her fault though. You know what I mean? Because I think sometimes I feel like it's the expectation that because it is Beyonce that she needs the light on her. But like everybody knows how to play their role, and you know what I mean? And she's just doing what she's asked to do. So I mean, I don't really blame her. It's more like, to me, I feel like it's more of a management thing where, somebody, how they just make it about a certain person. And I mean, of course she's going to try to do everything, but I feel like Lion King, they were just trying to optimize on the fact that we showed out so much for Black Panther, and they was like, we got to get another Black movie out here so that we can be able to do it. And then Disney was like, who's really, really good and who's a Black person that we can really do? Beyonce. And then because Kendrick did so well with the Black Panther soundtrack, it was like, we'll give her the soundtrack too, and we're gonna make twice as much money. So like, of course I'm not gonna be mad at her for trying to take opportunities that they give her, but you know what I mean? I don't think it's always her fault, but the oversaturation, and I think that's why she takes some time and chills out too, because she realizes like too much of a good thing can get you worn out.
Steven, what you got, man?
I think it's more so the fact of kind of like what Wyatt was saying. Since Beyonce is such an enigma, since she's not like out and about, we don't really know what she be doing until she pops up. It's becoming such a rare occasion that she pops out. It's like, oh my God, there goes Beyonce. And then she draws the people because she is number one. She's top of her top. And then since she's so mysterious, it's like, all right. And kind of like looking at the Lion King movie, you know, besides Beyonce, that cast was stacked. I mean, there were some heavy hitters with Beyonce, without Beyonce. You know, I'm a huge Childish Gambino fan. I actually got a Childish Gambino hat on right now. And like for me, that sold me on the movie. I didn't care who else was in the movie. But just looking at everybody that was there, it's like, oh wow. You know, I think for her being in that movie, she was more so the cherry on top versus the star. But at the same time, like I said, since she is so mysterious, since, you know, she did something unheard of, put out an album with zero promotion and then went number one. I mean, it kind of comes with the territory of who she is. So, I mean, is she overrated or whatever? That's to be determined. But I mean, it's the name, it's who it is. So,
Katie, what do you think, sweetie?
I think that I don't think it's her. I think it's her. I think it's the CEO in the fan kingdom. Shalila. No, just kidding. But it's just because, I mean, well, just like I said before, like, and just like what Wyatt said, she comes and she does her job, whatever she pays to do. She's doing that and she's gone. So you can't really blame her for it. And I think the only people, just my opinion, the only people that's really kind of like over exaggerating her talent is her clan. Honestly, that's just how I feel about it, because, like, you know, everybody else is like kind of not biased. So it's like, you know, well, all right, well, she's a good she's a good singer. She's a good actress. She's like, you know, she's an artist and that's what she is. But then you have people that kind of put you up on these pedestals, and then they're the ones making you seem like you're like this all-time God person. And like, you know, and then you want to blame the artist for what she's doing. Like, no, she's been doing it. That's what she's doing. She's good at it. I'll be crazy in love. That's my shit. And we just go from there. But I think she's being overrated. Like people are making her overrated, but I don't think she's making herself overrated. If that makes sense.
Miss Shalila.
I basically agree with what everybody said, but of course, because I'm the last one. Her work ethic and the name that she built for herself through her hard work speaks for herself. It's you know how you hear that someone's coming and there's someone who's accomplished, you know, someone people like, admire, and I'm trying to throw Beyonce out of it, but you know, the anticipation is there before they come into the room because their reputation speaks for themselves. Like Steven said, she is somewhat mysterious because at one point she stopped doing interviews. She's not very active as most artists or celebrities are on social media. You don't ever really see her, you know, getting on her stories, talking to her fans or whatnot. So there's that level of anticipation, but I definitely feel like it's the reputation and that she's built for herself, and the fact that her work speaks for herself, so that when her name is put onto something, it's a mixture of her fan base getting excited about, oh, Beyonce's in this, but it's also the fact that people know that if something has her name on it, she is determined and she works hard to make sure that it is a success. With The Lion King, I suggest you go see it. It was good. I think one reason they chose her was because growing up, when I think of The Lion King, I also think of it being like a musical, and then it also is on Broadway. So I think when they chose Childish Gambino and Beyonce to play Simba and Nala, they were also thinking about, you know, music and the music aspect of it. I don't think the fact that Beyonce's in Lion King that it overshadows The Lion King, because there are big names in it. And I mean, I was watching The Lion King. She doesn't really have that big of a role. Nala's role isn't even really that big. I'm up there watching like what Beyonce is. But the music aspect of it, when her and Childish sings "Can You Feel Love Tonight," it just goes well. Like, she delivered. So the thing is, I think we hear her voice a lot. because she is a musician. You know, she has a song on the radio right now with Megan Thee Stallion Savage. We hear her voice a lot. So when it comes to her doing something like Lion King and doing a voiceover, and she does have an accent, it's like some people can't get away from hearing the performer Beyonce. And I think that was the issue with Lion King, because everyone didn't like Lion King. Some people was like, oh, she ruined it. But I feel like over a regular actor or actress, you know, you see them in that role in the movie and the TV show, but with her, you see her in a movie and a TV show, you see her performances, you hear on the radio. It's like you hear her all the time. So I feel like it's kind of weird when you hear it in a movie, especially in a voiceover. And even as a fan, I noticed that. What else? I don't think she's overrated. Like, I just think that her fan base supports her. And at this point, there's no female artist that you can kind of who has had the level of success that she's had. I would say maybe Whitney, but I don't consider Whitney to be. Whitney can act and sing, but then there's the dancing aspect and the other stuff that Beyonce does, running her own business, being a CEO. She does a lot. So I feel like she's not overrated. She just is that shit. I sound like a stan, but
I mean, hey, you gotta rep for who you rep, because if anybody say anything wrong about Jason David Frank, we can fight on sight. Like, don't say nothing but my boy. That is the Green Ranger forever and always. That's my dude. So I feel you.
I think one thing too to add with the Lion King movie that a lot of people, so a lot of these, I'll speak for me. A lot of these remakes I didn't really watch because I mean it's whatever. But for me, I think a lot of people looked at that Lion King movie in what they call nostalgia glasses. All they want is the same feelings that they had when they were a kid, but you're an adult now. You know, you're an adult now. You're not going to have those same feelings. And what a big thing a lot of people sometimes forget with these movies are kind of made for kids and they're made for families. So, you know, if a kid says, oh, there goes Beyonce right there. Well, you're going to draw them in. So, I mean.
What you think?
I think one thing that Beyonce does really, really well is, like, over her 20 some odd years that she's been like in the business and things like that, you've never heard anything really negative about her. And especially, I think, as, like, you know, bringing race into it, like as a Black woman, you know what I mean? Because, like, if you think about it, I think you said that, you know, Whitney Houston was kind of the closest one, but then she had all her issues that were going on, you know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where I think you should admire the fact that she does have these efforts and that she is trying to make a lot out of who she is. And that's the part that I appreciate. Like, I'm not following her like some of these people, you know, like some of you guys are, but I just, you just have to admire the fact that she works hard. She tries to do what she can for the people that's important to her, and that she sets a good example. So that's the one thing that I thought about. And she worked hard to have her brand the way it is so that she gets paid to do, you know, the movies that she does. You know, if, you know, she's got her hands in a lot of different pots and stuff like that. So, I mean, if she's not the best actress, then it's all right. But, I mean, you can always tell that she's trying to give her best. So that's the only thing that I can say that I can appreciate too.
Speaking of pots, I want y'all to make sure y'all follow my boy Steven. He'll be cooking on the gram. I think me and him a couple years ago we did his first cooking video, so y'all go check that out too. We had a good time. He grown a whole lot in his culinary experience. But yeah, most definitely, man. It's a different nature of things when it comes to a lot of these movies and a lot of these remakes and how a lot of stuff goes today in our culture. But I'm definitely glad to have had all of you guys on here this evening. I really appreciate y'all stopping by. And hopefully I'll stop by again, because anytime this new series that I'm doing is going to be basically to discuss what's going on right now. Like I said, whether it be something local, whether it be something in the entertainment industry, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time.
So I just want to say, I think one remake that they're not going to do is Pocahontas.
Yeah. You got to tread lightly with that.
Think about that. Pocahontas.
treat
Right,
13
right.
years
You know,
old.
you got them Europeans.
They ain't gonna do
They stole her.
These white people.
Savages, all that. They can't do
Dang.
that.
They ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
If they do, they're gonna make a
I didn't
move.
think about that. That's one
That's a
princess
good-
that ain't gonna be no shine.
That's
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
point. I don't think that's.
You can't just think about the whole story in 2020. It'd be like,
Yeah.
oh,
That ain't
so this older man was hanging out with this younger girl. Pause. Just stop right there.
yeah. They that one they ain't gonna touch that one. And
Right.
to Disney, I got a bone to pick with you. I believe probably all of us here have access to Disney Plus. Why we don't have the Whitney Houston branded Cinderella on Disney Plus? Why?
I don't think that's Disney.
Now,
You know-
it is the wonderful world of Disney.
Is
No,
It is-
It's through ABC. ABC also owns Disney.
Disney is
ABC.
owned. Disney
Yeah.
owns ABC.
ESPN. Disney owns everything.
Right.
I read the story. I read the story why, and there's actually like a really big controversy whole story behind that movie from production to now. So while the story is Disney, I think somewhere in the technicalities it's not.
Not the
The
story.
legalities.
Not the story. It's when you watch that movie, it was when it was first played on ABC. The whole track line of it was that it was coming from, because Disney has different sub divisions, and it was being done by the Wonderful World of Disney. That was all those straight to home movies we were getting on ABC back in the day. So it is a Disney property, but you're right. It's probably some type of legal something in there, But go ahead.
That's my movie though. That's my
It's
favorite
something.
princess.
It's
Right.
something in there. I wish I could find it, because even the story behind the soundtrack was crazy. Because I think it was, and I could be wrong, so don't. It's not Bible, but I think it was something along the lines of when Brandy was doing the soundtrack for everything. They wanted the album to be classified as pop, but because it was Brandy, they try and classify it as R&B, and the higher ups didn't want an R&B album as their movie soundtrack. I think that's what happened, but it's wild. It's really wild.
I don't even think you can find. I don't even think the album is streaming anywhere.
It's
You can't
right.
find it on any
I
place.
don't think there is an album.
And so now I got to go to YouTube to try to find my songs.
Yeah, there's not a soundtrack for it anywhere. If it's definitely probably gonna be on YouTube or something like that somewhere. But it's a Disney property. It comes from the Wonderful World of Disney. So what y'all gonna do about that Disney?
Something weird about Disney Plus too. Like it's been kind of in and out. Like I don't know, because I know there's like an episode of the Proud Family that's not on there because of some kind of legal something.
Yeah, it's a lot of technicalities with a lot of
There's
that
a lot
stuff
of
on Disney
technicalities.
Plus. It definitely is. But again, y'all, thank y'all so much for stopping by. Thank y'all for joining us on this episode. Steven, tell everybody where they can find you at.
Sure. You can follow me. I got 2 Instagrams. You can find me on my personal one at Classact. So that's KKLASSACT. And then that's just more personal stuff. But my food Instagram is Chef Steven McIntyre. I post a lot of stuff on there. Find me on Facebook. I do videos all the time. I've been lately asking these really chefy questions, so I like to get people's inputs on things. And reach out to me if you need any food things.
Miss Shalita, tell everybody, what have you been doing lately in the community? Let's talk about that right now.
So as I said, I am an Army veteran. I kind of still have like one foot still in. But no, I'm just, trying to be a part of the change that we need in our local community. So I was at a rally/minor protest today. And I'm just helping somebody with their campaign who's running for city council in Pritchard. I'm from Mobile. I don't know where everybody else is from. Okay. But no, I'm just like very active in the community. You know how a lot of people complain about stuff. But that's all they're doing is complaining. So I just aim to be a part of the change and make sure I'm kind of in the room. So
there you go.
But I'm from Mobile. I'm in Mobile right now, but I pay rent in Atlanta. But the way the room is set up, I just stay home. I just came home.
Why?
What about you, man? Where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm just at Mr. Stokes, MISTR STOKES. I'm pretty boring. I'm just It's more pictures of like me and my son than anything. But yeah,
Hey, that's important. Black Dads Matter.
So,
Miss
yeah.
Katie Kelly, where can we find you at on social media? I think Katie's going bye-bye. All right. Well,
Sorry.
there she go.
No, I'm here. Okay, so you can find
Wait a
me.
minute. Katie got that hair done. There you go.
That's why I had to turn my camera off. I didn't want to be ghetto. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, KVanity, KVANITIE. And my podcast, Live Your Life.
Awesome.
Spelled like that, Live Your Life.
Awesome. That's right, girl. Live your life. All right, guys. You know who we are with Fandoms Anonymous. You can follow us all over social media right here on YouTube and Facebook where you're watching this. Follow us on TikTok too. We got a lot of amazing stuff coming up. Up next on the conversation series, the B. Simone conversation. She got some heat out there right now. Oh my God. We're gonna talk. When I tell you, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So y'all can catch that coming up this week as well. But thank y'all so much for coming and just sitting with us tonight, and we'll see you guys in another video.